1. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about the types of solid waste. In that, different types of solid waste we have discussed. That part is finished, I think. And then we have also discussed about the 3R formula. Then we have discussed about the classification of municipal solid waste based on decomposability, non-decomposable and decomposable waste are the classification, and based on the combustibility, these are classified as a combustible and non-combustible type of solid waste. Okay. Then we have discussed about the physical characteristics, chemical characteristics, and characteristics of the municipal solid waste. Okay. The last part we have discussed in the last lecture was the sources of the waste. There are the different sources: domestic waste, commercial waste, ashes, animal waste, biomedical waste, construction waste, industrial waste, sewer waste, and the biodegradable waste. Okay, so this part we have discussed in detail one to one, I think. Have you written this slide, that sources of waste? I think I have not given time to write that. So please write down first this and then we'll continue. Please write down this fast. Sources of waste. These are the different sources of the waste. Okay, have you finished? We have finished. If you have finished, we'll go for the next.
मेल टाकलाय सकाळचा.
Okay, guys, we'll move ahead. Yes, बी म्हणजे कोण येते आपल्याकडे? PMQT कोण घेते? TOX. Yes. BB. Okay. As per sources, what is the typical generation, and then what are the typical solid waste under each source that I think I have discussed with you. Under residential, food waste, paper waste, cardboard, textiles, whatever in that, it heterogenic characteristics will be there. uh, Household waste, uh, everything will electronic waste, non-electronic waste, waste paper, vegetable waste, food waste, everything will come
Fine.
under the residential waste. Okay. Then industrial waste, it depends upon the type of industry, which type of industry is there. And then in the industry also, along with the it, though it is depend upon the production of that particular industry, there will be also some amount of domestic waste will generate, because the human are working in that industry, and because of that, it is there is also some kind of municipal solid waste will be there. Then commercial and institutional waste, these two types of waste are little bit similar type of waste. It will generate basically like the paper, cardboard, plastic, type of material. Okay, in the commercial as well as institutional. So both the activities are little bit similar in these two types of sources. So that's why similar type of waste is going to be generated from this area. Then construction and demolition, uh, wood, steel, concrete, dirt, from that construction and demolition. Though it is not mentioned here, but in the some day back, I have given to you an example about the waste generating during the construction and demolition, and that material is huge, and that is nothing but the gypsum. Okay. For the preparation of pop, for the preparation of decoration for the Ganpati festival, for the preparation of the decoration for the Durga Mata festival. At such many festivals, decorations are being prepared, and at that time, no, gypsum is being used, and this is non-decomposable type of waste. For a longer period, it remains as it is. So that is also kind of construction and demolition type of waste. So it requires, for such type of waste requires a huge amount of land to be uh, provided. Okay. Then municipal services, under the municipal services, so here is something down in the next slide. Municipal services, mm, street cleaning, landscaping, whatever the municipal activity, municipality is providing services to the public, is nothing but the municipal services. So in that, street cleaning, gardens are provided, parkings are provided. So from that, or the water supply system is there, wastewater system is there. So these are the facilities provided by the municipality to the society, and while performing these activity, or while running these such activities, whatever the waste is generating, that will be considered under the municipal services type of waste. So in that, major type of waste will be the generating from the street sweepings. And you know that street sweeping, whatever aside the road, as I told you, human behavior, human mindset, they want to do something, and whatever they are doing at that time, there may be the production of solid waste, and that solid waste they will throw away easily, because they don't want to be have that waste along with them, is it? So while throwing away, they are not thinking about that. So example I had given to you in the last lecture, that is the, while traveling through a car, if you are eating something and getting produced some kind of solid waste in the form of, mm, maybe fruit peels, uh, or wrappers, so easily you are throwing away from the window of your car, and it is depositing aside the road. So it happens that this kind of mindsets are creating a huge amount of dirt aside the road, and while street sweeping, it needs to be collected. Not only such type of material, along with this, animal droppings, then sometimes the dead animals, then some of the parts, spare parts of the vehicles, such type of material is also being observed during the street sweepings. Then in the gardens and parks, there will be landscaping and tree trimming happening. That waste is also being considered under the municipal services. Okay, so such a type, any recreational activities, maintenance of beach and all such type of areas, that will create the huge amount of waste which will comes under the municipal services. Then the processes of, or we can say, manufacturing activity, whatever the manufacturing activity being performed in that heavy and light manufacturing, refineries, chemical plants, power plants, mineral extraction and processing, these type of activities, and it will create such type of waste, it will generate such type of waste, and we need to collect it. And the last one is the agricultural, in that crops, orchards, vineyards, dairies, feed lots, farms. Actually, dairies, sometimes it is being considered under the agricultural waste, and sometimes it is being considered under the industrial type of waste. Okay, so it depends, and accordingly it will varies. But dairy waste is very dangerous waste, in the form of liquid as well as in the form of solid waste. Especially in the liquid waste, you know that there are huge amount of bacteria already present in the such type of waste, and as time passes it will starts converting into a septic environment. So such a type of waste, we need to provide the immediate treatment, immediate disposal process. Okay. So why we are studying in detail the characteristics? Once you know the characteristics of the waste, you can plan to dispose it in uh, properly. Okay. So that's why we need to provide the proper treatment process. Mm, so this part we have discussed, and then was talking about the solid waste generation rate. So there are the various factors affecting on the solid waste generation, and these are the season of the year, frequency of collection, characteristics of the population, public attitude, geographical location. Okay. So this part we have discussed till the last lecture. I don't know whether you have written or not. So the last point you can note down in your notebook, that is factors that affect the generation rate of the solid waste. Generation rate, why we should keep on writing, I will explain. Why you need to write the generation rate. While studying the water supply engineering and wastewater engineering, you might have noticed that we are thinking about the quantity, because once you know the quantity, you can decide the dimensions of your wastewater treatment plant or the water treatment plant. So you must know the quantity first, and then you must know the quality, and accordingly you can provide the facility to provide the treatment. So same here for the solid waste management also, you should know the quantity, and once you know the quantity, then the next step is to get know about the quality. If you are knowing these two fundamental things, you can provide the you can make the proper provisions to have the proper disposal. If there is a proper disposal or proper collection process is provided in respect of solid waste management, it will definitely help us to keep our environment clean and healthy. Is that clear? So that's why we need to understand what are the factors responsible for the generation rates. So please copy this slide. We'll move to the next point. The last point of this chapter is the biomedical waste. So you should know what is meant by the biomedical waste first, the concept. What is the biomedical waste? The name itself is telling you what is the meaning of biomedical waste. It is generated from the biological and medical sources and such activities such as the diagnosis, prevention or treatment of disease. Medical facilities generates waste hazardous chemicals and radioactive materials, which, while such waste are normally not infectious, they require proper disposal. Okay, if you handle it carefully, there will not be the problem, but if you don't handle it carefully, there will be a problem. But specific type of waste is not having problem, but many of the biomedical waste is having multiple types of problems that we are going to discuss in detail. So biomedical waste is basically generating from the hospitals or such type of treatment units or the prevention diagnosis type of units, is it? uh, from the diagnosis system there will be less hazardous type of waste is going to be generate. Prevention also little bit less, but prevention, in the case of prevention type of units like the testing laboratories are there. And from that, if that waste is not disposed properly, it will transfer the diseases, whatever the diseases uh, of that particular people are having, is it? So that's why we need to take proper care in respect of biomedical waste. And generally most of the biomedical waste is the decomposable type of waste, but the best method for the disposal of biomedical waste is the incineration. Why incineration is the best method? Because it is usually a septic type of material and it will transfer their diseases towards the next. So that's why there is a need to go for the disposal. What exactly includes in a biomedical waste that we will discuss here? Uh, in that, human anatomical waste like tissues, organs and body parts, is it? Are you getting human anatomical waste like tissues, organs and body parts? Animal waste generated during research from veterinary and hospitals. Though we are the human being, not only we are supposed to think about the hospitals and the diagnostic centers prepared for the human beings, but also for the sorry for interruptions, guys. So we were talking about the what are the different types of biomedical waste. So in that, human anatomical waste like tissues, organs, and body parts. Then animal waste generated during the research from veterinary hospitals. microbiology and biotechnology waste, waste like hypodermic needles, syringe, then uh, scalps in the sense at the time of providing the salines, they are used material that is known as the scalpels, and broken glass, then the discarded medicines and cytotoxic drugs. Okay, so these are the mainly included biomedical type of waste. So because so if the discarded medicines and cytotoxic drugs are there, we may not come into contact with these, but if there is the waste material generated like the needles, fringes, scalps, broken glass, or the bandages used for the injuries, used for to control the injuries, such types of waste is the septic type of waste, and we need to provide the proper treatment process to dispose it, otherwise it will create the health problems to the society. So that's why we need to provide the proper treatment to the in respect of biomedical waste. Okay, so I request you all to write down these number of waste under the biomedical waste. Write down biomedical waste. So whenever we talk about the biomedical waste, these are though there are the different types of material included into the biomedical waste, but the four major characteristics we should remember, and these are nothing but the infectious, hazardous, radioactive type of waste is there. Okay, so infectious in the sense, if the bandages or like this material is there, in that case it will be infectious type of material. When it is hazardous, when these types of drugs are there, tablets are expired, tablets are there, sometimes then for diagnosis purpose radiations are being used, these are the hazardous one. Sorry, drugs are being used, these are the hazardous one. Then uh, for diagnosis purpose what radiations are being used, and these are nothing but the radioactive type of waste, and all other remaining parts of the biomedical waste will come under the category general type of waste. So these are the four main categories are there for the biomedical waste. So for each category we need to provide the different process. If it is the hazardous and radioactive type of waste, that for that purpose the different treatment methodologies are there. Hazardous waste we need to collect separately, and there is only option that it should be dumped into the earth pit and closed it properly. The one should not go there at that place. Why should not go to that place? That I'm going to explain you while explaining the hazardous waste. So very live example, I think in the last many examples are like this, uh, through which we have observed the some incident happen. One incident I explained in the last semester, I think, NCL laboratory established at the Pune, is it? So there was one incident in respect of hazardous waste. So the scientist was performing experiment with on uranium, and he has kept that uranium piece into his laboratory, and he forgot to keep it at the proper place after his use, and he left the laboratory. When he remembered that, he went to home and he reminded that the uranium piece is remain over there on the table in that particular pit or somewhere where he was using. So when Pune came to close the laboratory, he saw that uranium it was sparking, and because it was sparking, that he attracted towards that, and